And joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, my good friend from CBS 3, Mr. Pat Gallen joins us. What's up, Pat?
What's up, Mark? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you.
It's great to see you. I know you were just traveling around with Villanova. I was going to reach out to you, and I was going to say, let me get Pat on now, talk some Nova. And I'm like, no, I need Pat for baseball. Now that baseball season's upon us, we can talk some B-ball, my friend.
You don't want to talk about Villanova's run to the Final Four? That's old news now, right?
Old news. For a Temple guy, that was old, like immediate. That was old at halftime. But no, I wish them nothing but success, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, I honestly, Pat, I can't remember just when it comes to the Phillies. Maybe individually when they signed Bryce Harper, I was excited. But in terms of what this team's potential is throughout an entire 162-game season, I can't remember a time my expectations were this high. It's been at least 10 years to have this high expectations for this Phillies squad.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming for them to be able to put a roster like this together. You know what was funny? I was looking through some of the opening day starters of the last decade. Jeremy Hellickson started on opening day 2 years in a row. How is that possible? That's how bad this team was. And so, yeah, to have some star level talent throughout the lineup and at the top of the rotation, man, it's good to be a Phillies fan right now. I don't know if it's going to pan out into a World Series title, but for right now, at least, we can get excited about something.
Yeah, certainly. That's funny. Jeremy Hellickson's almost on the same line as like a Robert Person type of guy. You know what I'm saying? Just to pull another random guy from the past. But when you talk about this season, the lineup is what everyone's looking at and saying this is going to be incredible. Today they score one run on a home run. Gene scored his home run late in the ballgame, obviously in the ninth inning. But how good do you think this lineup will be when they all start to really click, when they all start to really gel?
I mean, I think this lineup has the ability to maybe be on par with some of the best lineups of that Utley, Howard, Rollins era of teams, just because there is so much talent. I mean, Schwarber, incredible. First at bat as a Philly, he hits one out of the park. You've got Real Muto batting second. He can be an on-base machine when things are going well. The MVP. Then you've got Castellanos, who can hit you 40 home runs. And then obviously Rhys Hoskins, who I think is going to do quite well hitting behind all of those guys. So it's such a deep lineup. And as you saw in the first two games of the series, it doesn't necessarily have to be about hitting the ball out of the park. They can manufacture runs with this lineup as well. You get a guy on base, Hoskins hits double, brings you in. And even the bottom of the lineup is going to score you some runs on occasion. I really like what Bryson Stott can bring to the table. He looks like, I don't think he's going to be a 20, 25 home run talent, but looks like a smart player. I think defensively is going to have to feel it out a little bit. But I mean, if you're talking offense, top to bottom, there aren't many lineups in Major League Baseball that can rival this one. And that alone should excite you. The rest of the team, I think, from day to day is going to upset you. But at least we know offensively, they're going to score some runs. Sunday, they put up one run. Not, Charlie Manuel, not hitting weather. Definitely not hitting weather when it's 43 degrees and there's a 20-mile-per-hour wind out the right field. So it's one of 162, but I think you can be excited about the lineup for sure.
I always find it funny. You can always go by the hoods in the background of the batter. If the hoods are all up in the stands, the Phillies aren't hitting. If the hoods are down, sunglasses are on, oh, baby, hit parade's happening. Switch gears real quick here. I want to talk some Sixers with you. Look, did the season end the way a lot of people wanted it to end, just in terms of the Sixers grabbing like the top seed in the Eastern Conference? No. They did that last year, and it still didn't pan out. But at least it ends with Joel Embiid getting a scoring title. Will it end down the line here with Joel Embiid getting the MVP award, Pat Gallen?
No, I don't think it will. I think he is deserving of it. But look, maybe we spend a little bit too much time on Twitter, but you could sort of sense a shift maybe over the last 10 to 15 games of the year that it was like all about Embiid up until that moment. And then it became about Jokic again. And don't get me wrong, Nikola Jokic is obviously one of the best players in the world, and he is playing at an MVP level as well, doing it on a Nuggets team where he's missing a couple of his wingmen as well. And look, I get it from the Philadelphia perspective. We want to will Joel Embiid to get that trophy. to me, it's a coin flip. I look at the numbers across the board. You look at what they've meant to their team, win, loss, whatever it might be. You could say it's a 50-50 split. I think that in seeing what I'm seeing, on a national scale, hearing what I'm hearing, I think it's going to go back to Jokic, but he is certainly deserving it in another year, a different year. He could certainly win it, but I just don't think it's going to be his year again. That doesn't mean he's not an MVP, though. To us, absolutely MVP. He's been incredible.
Yes, if we were giving out the award, he would have it like a week ago. I absolutely agree. The other part of that is that Giannis entered the conversation. Giannis entered the chat with 2 seconds left or two weeks left in the season. I'm like, where's this guy been? All of a sudden out of nowhere. So that was another thing that made me think maybe it's not going to happen this year for Joe, but happy he's at least got the scoring title. And I agree. I would give it to him, but I know I'm not the rest of the league. I know I'm not voting. So I think it's going to end up going back to Joker as well.
Yeah, I think I agree with you. But it's so funny. Giannis comes out of nowhere. Yeah, he's averaging 30 and 12 and 6 assists. He could absolutely win the MVP as well. But I think it's that, he's won it already. The other guys are the sexier names right now because we're just used to Giannis putting up these numbers, but he's at the top as well, man. It's great.
Absolutely. All right. So we're in the situation at the time we tape this interview. We're not sure who the Sixers are going to play. Could be the Bulls, could be the Raptors. Pick your poison when it comes to those two. I think the Sixers have way too much internal problems to look at anybody else. But right now, if you had to pick your poison, who would you pick going into the playoffs?
Yeah, I think I'd want to see them play Chicago. Obviously, they just have had more success against the Bulls, and we know how they deal with the Raptors and how it's been in the playoffs in years past. Won't go down that road right now, but yeah, I think I'd rather see the Bulls. Although I don't think that would be a cakewalk either. You get DeMar DeRozan in a short series. That guy just seems to put up 40 or 50 against the Sixers every time he steps on the court. So he's a little bit, but the Bulls. Defensively, I just don't think they can match up well with the Sixers. So I'd like to see them go with Chicago. But we're taping it right now. The Sixers are up 11 on the Pistons with 4 minutes left in the second. So at this moment, it looks like they're going to play, the Raptors. Although what happens with the Celtics, who knows? Again, I'd rather go with the Bulls than Toronto. I just don't want to go down that road again because you just not that they would lose that series, but we've seen it play out this way against Toronto. And then you can throw into it the Matisse Thybulle thing with him not being able to go into Canada, and your best defensive player might be missing a couple of games in that series. That throws another wrinkle into it. So just give me the Bulls.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you. I can't imagine a world. I don't want to imagine a world, Pat Gallen, where the Sixers get James Harden, and the first thing we're talking about is a first-round exit in the playoffs. None of us want that, of course. Pat, great catching up with you, my man. Really appreciate you coming on the Farzy Show. First-time guest, my friend. I really appreciate you coming on. Look forward to having you again sometime down the line.
Yeah, man. Let me know. I'm around.
Absolutely. Pat Gallen joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.